Pesticides are not the primary driver for species decline. In fact, they're a micro scale contributor to a macro scale problem.
Hi, and welcome to Illinois Corn TV. My name is John Klemm, and I'm an Illinois farmer and Illinois Corn Board Director. Today, I talked with Richard Brain about the real story behind species decline and the shrinking land challenge. Let's jump into our interview. Well, Richard, thanks for joining us today. Looking forward to the interview and learning a little bit more about the work that you've been doing. So with that, talk to us about pesticides, and are these pesticides the primary cause of species decline in North America, or what's your stance on that?
No, it's good to be with you. And the answer to that question is that the data indicate that pesticides are not the primary driver for species decline. In fact, they're a micro scale contributor to a macro scale problem. And just as a little bit of pretext, I became interested in this subject about 10 years ago, when the mania, if you will, surrounding the neonics was sort of hitting a fever pitch. And there was a lot of academic research at the time that was suggesting that neonics in particular were the seminal cause of, bee invertebrate decline, bird decline. And you were also seeing a narrative promulgated in the media that would uh, basically give you some sort of imagery akin to the book of Revelations, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, pulling a spray rig that's just sterilizing the landscape. And so I thought, this seems like it's lacking context. And so I basically embarked on this sort of project to look at in a comparative framework, how much do pesticides contribute relative to other factors, whether that's invasive species, climate change, habitat loss, etc. And the first iteration in this series was focused on birds, and it's interesting because this information was compiled by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. It was primarily from Scott Loss at Oklahoma State University and famed ecologist David Pimentel at Cornell, and it was compiled by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And basically, what it indicated was that 72% of all bird mortalities in the U.S. are the direct result of domestic and feral cats. And a further 25% were the result of collisions with buildings and vehicles. And 2% were the result of poisons, and that wasn't broken out by household, industrial, or agricultural. And so essentially, the vast majority, 97% of all those bird mortalities were associated with, two factors: cats and collisions. Yet the narrative that was promulgated in the popular media was, pesticides were basically responsible for decimating bird populations in the United States. And so it kind of went from there. We did another iteration that was based on mammals, another one on fish, and most recently with terrestrial plants. And so that was sort of my motivation, was just to provide context, as well as to inform the general public about, the relative degree of contribution of pesticides as well as agriculture to species decline.
Now it's time for Just the Facts, brought to you by PCM. No-till stands out as the overwhelming choice for tillage systems among the top 25% most profitable soybean farmers. 43% of most profitable farmers on highly productive soils are no-tilling their beans, and 60% of most profitable farmers on low production soils are no-tilling beans. Enroll your data to identify which fields no-till has the best chance to succeed. Visit precisionconservation.org.
Okay, so now now you've kind of got your target of what you're wanting to go down and research and help inform the public of what's going on. But then did you come to a conclusion on why agriculture became the easy target and the misattribution of the use of the pesticides and what they were doing?
Well, there's several reasons for that, to be honest. It's an easily exploited legal construct, and that's primarily due to the citizen suit provisions under both the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, Rodenticide Act, FIFRA, as well as the Endangered Species Act, ESA, You've got biological plausibility because, the number of the target receptors that are, present in the pest are also present in non-target organisms. And you've also got sort of a dubious historical context. If you think about Silent Spring, DDT, organochlorines, are sort of a tainted past. So it becomes a convenient target, both perceptually and litigiously. But, being an easy target doesn't mean it's the right target.
So let's take a quick break here from kind of the serious questions, and we're going to go to a portion of the program here that we call Not to Be Corny, and we'll do our best to make it maybe just as corny as possible for you, actually. So why did the corn stalk get promoted at the Growth Innovation Meeting?
I thought you were going to ask me a question about my last name and if you short form my first name to Dick, so I'm glad you didn't ask that one, but I don't know. You have to tell me.
Okay, it's because it was outstanding in its field, right? So it's out there standing, and it's outstanding in its own remarks. So, just like to have a little fun with that, and remind ourselves that in all the serious work we do, we gotta have fun with it as well, right? Well, this has been another episode of Illinois Corn TV. Stay tuned for more content every week, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next week.